Hello there everyone, and welcome back to a new video. So this is the 8th story in our GrayBird Tales collection. Here we go. Okay, as per usual, we start by defining the basic characteristics of the story. This time I want to start with the word count. Again, between 1k and 2.5k words, I suppose that should do. For the main character, this time I would like to state their age bracket. Not that it's a big part of the story, but I feel like it adds a bit to it. Now, why? It's because of the actions that they're going to take, the choices that they're going to make. Now, their gender doesn't really matter to me. For now, we're gonna leave it at that. Now, for the main premises, the premise of the story, mirrors have a bit of a special meaning in a lot of places around the world. For example, I remember when I was a lot younger, my mother used to tell me, don't stare too much at your reflection in the mirror, especially after sundown. I did ask why, but I never really got an answer, and I thought it was really interesting. I have a wild imagination, and I remember at the time I started imagining a lot of stuff and making up stories in my head, but I never made anything out of them. And I think this is a good chance, a good occasion for me to unpack all those boxes that I made up in my mind. So again, this story takes place in GrayBird Town. Therefore, it's not that bizarre. Well, it is bizarre, but not that much when you think of everything we saw, all the phenomena we talked about that take place in GrayBird. This is only, expected. For the exact placement, our character moves between their home outside with their friends and school. Let's write down our prompt. So people don't really know what happens if you break the rule, or rather don't want to know. Now, our main character, lives in GrayBird, and they're a teenager, and they came to learn this rule in their childhood, of course, and they are really curious about what happens because, well, they learned the rule, but nobody's telling them what happens, nobody witnessed what happens, or those who did, well, nobody knows what happens to them. But this curiosity doesn't come from nowhere. They were convinced by their peers or someone of their age that they did it and nothing happened to them. So why not try it themselves? So I don't know if I'm gonna say too much. Again, as usual, yes, I am planning here this little sheet here to guide me when writing, but I don't like giving away too much because I still like to think that people might be interested in reading the story at the end of the video, or at the beginning, I don't know, your choice. But yeah, and I don't want to spoil anything. I feel like I said that multiple times, and those of you that are used to watching videos of this series are kind of tired of it. But if there are any new people, there it is. Okay, so we tried this, breaking this rule. Nothing happened at first, but then so something about them changes drastically to the point where they themselves can't ignore it. Our character, I mean. This here entirely is pretty vague, so they lose themselves, yes, but in what way? And that is something that I want to detail when I write the short story, not in the plan. Yes, this plan does exist to guide me, but I don't like it to restrain my freedom, I guess. When the time comes for writing, which is, I guess I'll just take a break after recording and then I'll get back to writing it. Now, there is something that we didn't talk about at the beginning, and it is the POV. I think for this story, I will stick to the first person point of view. Why? Because the way I want to go about it is that they interact with their friend and they gradually change their mind. Not that they didn't want to try it anyways, but the fact that their friend says that they tried it and nothing happened kind of validates their desire to break the rule. And so they actually do it. And I want to write that from their point of view. Their reaction when they see that nothing happens, their reaction to people around them, their loved ones, family, friends, telling them that something about them has changed and that they feel like more time goes by, they can't recognize their friend. I want to go from that angle. And the character's reaction when they start noticing themselves that something's not right. When it starts becoming too flagrant, like stuff seriously start to happen around them and just for them, that it starts to sink in, like, oh yeah, it's because I broke this rule, this happened because I did this. This is repercussion for my own action. Again, I want to go from that angle. Well, I think this should be it for this little plan. And yes, I didn't say what happens to them at the end. That's something I want to focus on when writing the story. I don't want to put something now because it will feel like it's set in stone. I like the freedom of changing an ending or adding something to it when I write it. It feels good to not have something hold me back, even though this is my plan and I made it. Still, sometimes I stand in my own way, and that's not something unique to me. I know that. So, yeah. So we only have now 2 other stories to close this chapter about the GrayBird tales. And I do hope to see you for the next video. so we can talk about our next projects. Where do we go from the GrayBird tales, and what do we do with them, with all these mysteries that we created, and how are we going to explain them? As I said, I do hope to see you in the next video. Until then, take care of yourself, stay safe, have a good day or night, depending on where you are, and bye-bye.